Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. You know, my boss just told me that I needed to stop playing poker and get back to work or I'd be fired. I bet he's bluffing. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Hegemony from Hegemonic Project Games. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. In Hegemony, lead your class to victory from Hegemonic Project Games. 4 players take on the roles of various classes within a society. You can be the capitalist class, the middle class, the worker class, or the state. Now, there are many videos out there describing how this game is played. I am really not going to get into the nuts of the bolts. I'm going to give you just the most bare bones overview of the game and then tell you what I think. As I say, you have 4 different players representing different classes in society: the capitalists, the middle class, the workers, and the state. And they each have different things they can do during the course of a game, and they each have a different kind of ways they can score points. Now, the game board has a lot of information on it. You have places where the capitalists are going to start their businesses. You have places where the state's public sector businesses can run. And then you have places where the middle class can run state. There'll also be a place for immigration, because you need workers that are going to go ahead and fill out those jobs that are going to come out. And then you also have, of course, places for international trading, for various other little nuts and bolts that have to do with the ways the different factions will interact. But critically, you have policies, and this is probably the most important part of the game board. The policies are reflect different things you're going to be voting on during the course of the game that will help one class or another, or at least maybe make it so that they can get the things they want to accomplish for that round. Now, the game takes place over 5 game rounds. Now, during those 5 game rounds, each player is going to go ahead on their turn and take certain actions. Now, you have cards you can play, and the cards will let you do specific things for your class, or you can burn those cards and do other special actions, and there's other free actions. Again, I'm not going to get into these things, but basically you can do things like, if you're the capitalists or the middle class of the state, one of the things you can do is you can create businesses. Essentially, you can put the cards out there, and you can kind of determine what the wages that particular business is going to pay. You can put them on the board. Workers are going to have opportunities to move their workers around. You're going to have kind of just unskilled workers, but then you'll have colored workers of different color who are, specifically skilled workers. And different businesses will call for those different workers. Now, obviously, the worker wants to go to places where they're going to make more money, but the capitalists wants to kind of have businesses out there where he can maximize his profits. The middle class is kind of straddling a line between that. On one hand, they're trying to put businesses, they want to make profits, but they too also will provide people that will do the work, so they want to be able to get money from that as well. So basically, the idea for the capitalists is they are trying to create these businesses that are profitable. They are trying to make money here. Now, for both the middle class and the worker class, you have these prosperity tracks, and essentially you're trying to manipulate them so you can gain prosperity each round. That's going to get you points. The state, however, is going to have something a little bit different. It's trying to gain legitimacy with the different classes. And in order to do that, it's going to kind of move up on this legitimacy track, but it never wants to get too far ahead on any one track. It's going to be voted on its lowest tracks. So there's kind of an impetus to kind of move all the tracks up and forward and maintain legitimacy throughout the state. Now, after you've gone around and every player's taken all their actions, you're going to have a voting system. Now, one of the things you can do for an action is you can try to vote on a specific issue. You can try to say, I want to move a specific issue here. and you put your marker there. So when we get to that voting phase, we look, okay, whose marker's there? Now, one thing that you do is over the course of the game, again, for actions and for other things, you're putting your colored cubes in a bag. These are essentially your political power, your votes. So when you actually go to do the voting, it's not that you actually physically vote or say aye or whatever, or even bid with a closed fist. Rather, what you do is you pull cubes out of the bag, and then depending on how many cubes you pull out of the bag, if that's your color, then you're going to win the vote, and the vote will go in your direction. You simply declare who you're voting for, and those votes then actually will reflect that's who you vote. That's how you will vote. Now, a lot of times there's no opposition, there's no need, it just goes over. But basically, when you do have these kind of conflict voting, you're drawing from a bag here. Now, after you've voted, you're going to do some housekeeping. There's different things that happen. First of all, you're going to collect revenues or wages. You're going to go ahead and collect that money for the working classes or the middle class or the capitalist class. And then you are also going to go ahead and have to pay your taxes. So you kind of figure out how much you're paying taxes. You look at like the policies, and that kind of tells you how that's going down. And then also, too, you are looking at the scoring, and you do scoring based on, again, your prosperity or your wealth or your legitimacy, whatever. But you look at your own individual cards. It's going to tell you how you're going to specifically score at a specific time, and then you go through and then you prepare for the next round. So you go around, you do these things, you take these actions, you create these businesses, you move your workers around, you play through the events and whatnot. You do all of this until you reach the end of the fifth round. At the end of the fifth round, who's ever got the most points wins. Hegemony, lead your class to victory. Now, as I say, that was a bare bones overview. This is a heavy Euro game, okay? Really, one of the heaviest that is currently in my collection. I'll tell you that right now. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, and if you watch the channel, you know I'm not typically a huge Euro gamer. There's some I like, but they're not my favorite. And I tend to shy away from heavier Euro games. Too often, I feel like these heavier Euro games are like paying taxes, and in this game, you literally pay taxes. So they're not generally my cup of tea. Now, I find one of the reasons why that's the case is very often when I play a Euro, and it almost seems like the heavier the Euro it is, the less the theme matters. It just becomes about mechanics and points and whatnot, and the theme disappears. And as you know, you look behind me, I'm a big theme guy. I love theme. When I play a game, I like to be immersed in the theme. I don't just like the cold mathematics of everything. I really like the stories games produce and the games tell. And that is big for me. That's huge for me. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big Euro gamer, is I feel very often in Euro games, themes take a very secondary role or even a tertiary role to mechanics and those sorts of things. So when the good people here at Hegemonic Game Project, they reached out and they asked me if I wanted to review this game. And I had seen some stuff in this game that looked pretty heavy, and my instinct was no, but there's something in me that says, I want to try it. I want to just try it. And I get it, and I start reading through the rules, and I'm like, it was not boding well for me. But I think I got enough of it that I think I can at least get started with my friends. And my friends were interested in it too, and we went and we played it over to Mike's house. Now, let me say some things here too. I've only played this game once, okay? I have just played this game once. And even then, I'm fairly certain there were probably a little few things here or there we didn't get quite right. So maybe don't look at this as a review so much as kind of an impression video, okay? But I wanted to discuss it while it was still pretty fresh in my mind, because honestly, I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to play it again. It's pretty heavy, and I'll say this right now, this is probably the biggest learning curve of any game I can remember in a long time, if not ever. And because it is so asymmetric, and there's some things that are very, that to one player, he's playing one kind of a game, and another player is playing a very different kind of a game. And it's kind of hard then to a lot of times when you're playing a game, you kind of teach each other as you're going sometimes, and you can't really do that here because the ideas are so different and asymmetric, as I say. But at the same time, that was kind of something that was very appealing to me, is I like asymmetric games. I like games where you're not all playing the same game. But this game is wow, there's so much going on, and there's so much to stay on top of. And you're trying to pay taxes, but if you don't have enough, then you've got to go borrow money. You can borrow money from the IMF, and you got to kind of look at what's going on there to borrow the money. And with the policies, you may not be exactly sure how it's going to affect this or that. And so there's a lot going on here. And this game was made too with, I think, actual economists contributed to making this game. There's a concepts, book that kind of talks about that a little bit, about how you're trying to essentially abstract how society actually functions. Now, I mentioned a second ago that with a lot of euros, they become more and more abstract, less and less theme driven. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is a heavy euro, one of, if not the heaviest euros I've ever played. And I liked it. More than like it. I think I might really, really like it. And I will tell you why. Because I have never played a euro, and certainly not a heavy euro like this, that felt so thematic, that felt so absolutely thematic. It kind of took my breath away because I was not expecting that. Because to me, that theme I got caught up in, and it was fun. It was fun. This didn't feel like just sitting around, okay, I'm maximizing this number, I'm going to do this number to do this number. I felt like I was really part of this greater idea, because you get caught up in this thing and you're saying, okay, well, at one point Nate was a capitalist and he's opening up a business, right? And so I'm going there because great, I get work. And then what does he do? He screws me over. He lowers the wages. And I'm like, well, I can't get to where I need to do. But he's trying to maximize his profits because that's how he wins. And so I said, screw it. Somebody else opened a business. I took my workers and left. He's like, well, you need to come and work for me. I'm not working for you if you're paying me that crap. And it was so funny. There was a real role-playing aspect here I was not anticipating. You really get caught up in wanting to advance the cause of your class, and you feel it. And there's things like like education and healthcare, and so okay, well, you can have free healthcare because that's really good, right? Because that would help the workers. But then you realize, no, it's not really free. There's still costs, and somebody somewhere is still paying for it. And you're trying to in your head balance these things, and it's so funny because this really is kind of a civics lesson. It really is a lesson in society, and saying every time you advance, every time you get something, sometimes somebody else is going to lose something, and there are never any magic bullet solutions to these kind of social and political issues, right? The best we can hope for are trade-offs. Well, okay, we can accept that, but that means we're giving up this. And it was so much fun to kind of experience that little microcosm of that. I mean, very often we live our own lives just kind of in these, we see what's right ahead of us. It's just, as humans, that's what we're programmed to do. But this is kind of a thing that kind of puts you in some other places and lets you think about other ideas. And I really appreciated that. That was really fun and exciting. Now, as I say, my intention is to hang on to Hegemony. I'm going to keep this in my collection. I hope I can make it work. I hope I can get it out and play it with people more. And I hope I can learn it well enough that I could teach it well, to have some really fun and interesting games. Because like I say, I just played the one game, but my experience was, I really enjoyed it. I really had a lot of fun with it. And I hope to be able to do that again. But like I say, there's a little bit of work getting there. It's a little bit of work getting to the place where you're comfortable with this game, and I hope I can find players in the future too, and my friends that have already played it, where we can still explore this game, because I think this is a blast. Now, like I said, because I've only played it the one time, and I'm not sure everything we did was 100% accurate, I'm not going to say buy it, try it before you buy it, etc., etc. I'm just going to say I really enjoyed it. I'm going to leave it there. So it's a lot of work, and because it's a lot of work, I don't see this as a game everybody's going to want to play. If you're somebody who's looking for lighter fare, move along. But if you're someone who really wants to invest the time into learning a system that has a lot of mechanical and strategic depth to it, but at the same time has a really fun theme that will suck you in, you might really enjoy Hegemony as I do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history, fun things like that. I'm currently uploading my lectures for my World War II course, so please subscribe to that channel. I would really appreciate it. And also, please give a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot as well. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I recently saw that those cops actually caught that stuttering criminal. I hope they give him a tough sentence.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
And then what's the state doing?
I'll vote for it.
Yeah, this is awesome. Screw capitalists. Red.
Finally, oppressed workers, they got voted down. No, and everything.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Here's a tie.
what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Oh, you piece of crap!